Hi, everybody. Welcome to our webinar today. This is the fourth in our series of Cricut Design Space 101. Today we are working with mastering images and uploads. So hope you have your questions ready and be ready to learn a lot. So first thing we're going to do, we'll just go over our agenda and get going. So it looks like we're getting a lot of people joining. So I want to make sure I welcome everyone. Here's our agenda today. Just take a look. We're going to get right into it really quickly. But remember, there is a survey at the end, and I really appreciate your feedback, especially when I ask what are other topics of interest that you'd like to have more webinars on. So please give me your feedback. I really appreciate it. My name is Kestin Mattinson. I am the Director of Education Experience here at Cricut, and I love my job. It's so much fun. And we have a couple of moderators that will answer your questions. Both Karen and Adam are pros. They are looking forward to your questions. Some of them, they've been answering questions already. So be sure to shoot them a question in the question box that you have on your control panel on the right-hand side. There should be a little arrow next to the word questions, and if you click on that, you can go ahead and write your question and send it in. We want to make sure we get everyone's question answered in real time. Just a little bit of housekeeping. This curriculum is designed for the newbie, the people who are very new to Design Space. We're really interested in helping you getting started, and so you can be independent and design the things that you want to in Design Space with success. So let's try to focus our questions on the content today. We're working with images, anything on uploading image, downloading image. Feel free to ask away. Today we don't have any handouts. If you'll follow along, you may want to write some things down as we go, however. And then at the end, you will receive an email from me with the recorded version of today's webinar. And like I said before, there is a survey at the end. So what are we going to learn today? Today you're going to learn how to upload an image in Design Space. We briefly discussed that a couple of webinars ago when we did Design Space 101 Part B, but we'll do a quick review of uploading images in Design Space. Then you're going to be able to identify the differences between a vector image and a basic image. And then finally, we'll convert some of those basic images into a cut image in Design Space and show you how to do that. So if you want to follow along with me, you're more than welcome to do that. I'm going to quickly move over into Design Space. So let's see here. Here I am, design.cricut.com. And I will go right to the home page. So if that's where you're starting, you can see that as well. Okay, guys. So first thing, we're just going to review just a little bit. If you remember, this is the home page, and I can get to the canvas at least three different ways here. So raise your hand right now if you know how to get to the canvas. If you remember. Some of you are like, I've got this. That's the easy part. But if you're not sure, it's pretty simple. Right here with this plus sign here under My Projects, it says New Project. That will get you to the canvas. So you want to click right there, and that will show a blank canvas, right? Ready for you to design. All right. Before we get going, I wanted to do just a quick poll to see what kind of machine are you using with Design Space. So let's just launch a quick poll and see of all of you, what kind of machine are you using right now with Design Space? Do you have a new Maker or one of the Explore series? Anything that's older doesn't actually work with Design Space. So these are the ones that actually do. So let's go ahead and see our responses here. A lot of you have voted. Thank you for voting quickly. And it's an interesting, almost 50% are working with the Air 2, and then the Maker, and then the Air 1 and Explorer. It's awesome. So I will try to focus on my questions to meet your specific needs of your machine. And let's go on right now to adding an image to our canvas. So some of you raised your hand, you're like, yeah, I got the image part. Now, if I want to add any image, I can come over here to the design panel. Remember, the design panel is to the left of the canvas. These are your tools that you will use to add to your canvas, to build with, right? If you are the artist, it would be your paint, right? So we're going to design a project over here in this vast empty canvas. That's what we're doing. So what I want to do is I want to bring in an image. So I'm going to click image. And there are thousands upon thousands of images, right? And you could scroll all day long and still not cover them. So just wanted to point out a few things for you to know as you're getting started. Here we are, images, and there are over 60,000. We're going to look at ways of how they're categorized. So we can look at categories, then we'll look at cartridges. You can actually search for an image, and also how you can filter. So we're going to cover those items quickly. So let's look at right now categories. Click at categories. So you can scroll down and you can see all of the categories. They're alphabetized from which to choose. It makes your search easier. So if you know you're going to be doing something with Easter, then you could just click on Easter. Or if you really want to see what's free this week, click on free, and it will show you all of the images that are free this week. And there are 114. So you can scroll through and see those. Another way to maximize your screen, if you will, if you click right in the top right-hand corner, I'll put my highlighter on it. Here, it's like a 3x3 grid, right? It's saying, hey, you can view this a different way. You can view these images. And so if I click on that, it made it smaller, so I can view more at a time. Okay, so I'm just going to look through these. I could even filter now. I know there are only 114, but maybe right now I know what I'm looking for, and I come over here to filter, and I can say I only want something that is a single layer, just one layer, and it actually helped my search. How do I know that? Raise your hand if you know. How do I know that it actually narrowed my search? I'm going to come over here and underline and show you. We went from 114 to 65. That's much more doable, right? I'm able to look through now the ones that I want. I know I want a single image, and I want to look at just the free ones this week. So now if I'm ready to choose some and put some on my canvas, I could say, oh, I really like this flower. And the minute I clicked on it, you can see it says here in the bottom left-hand corner, it's free because we actually searched by it. But if we weren't in free categories, it might say subscribed. If you are a Cricut Access subscriber, a member, it might say purchased. If this was an image that you purchased online and uploaded into Design Space, sometimes you'll see on mine might say granted. As a Cricut employee, I'm granted these images, but that's kind of the difference between those. And here on the other side, the little I is for information, and it will tell you what it's called, flower, its actual number. It tells you which collection it's in, under calligraphy and collection, if that's something you want to know. because you could actually look at all of those in that collection that match with that style. So I clicked on this flower and notice what happened on the bottom of the screen here. Right in here, there it appears. This is called the image queue. It's just holding it in place for you, and you can choose multiple things. I kind of like it because then I don't have to click one and upload, click one and upload. I can say, you know, I like this flower. Oh, I like that word celebrate. That flourish is kind of cool. I'm going to click that. Okay, you can see down here I have all three. I could insert all three to the canvas if I want, or if I know right now, you know what, I really don't want that one, I can hover over it and the X will appear and I can click it and it won't upload. It's not a big deal if they do upload and you change your mind either. So let's go ahead and say, click Insert Image. Now we have some things to work with on our canvas. So I have my flower, and you can see over on the right hand side, it's a single layer, right? That was what I actually searched for. There's only one layer here on the layers panel, and the word celebrate, and both are cut files. So it will cut this out. Raise your hand if you know if it's a cut file or not. How did I know these will cut? Raise your hand if you know. I'm really interested to see. If you are not, it's okay. It's really simple. I'm going to point it out to you. This right here shows you that this particular image, right, is going to cut. Well, you can always change your mind and say, I don't want it to cut, by clicking it, and the line type comes up here where it says Layers Attributes, and you could change it to a write or a score or a print, right? So I just wanted to point those things out to you with images. Now, then you can design them however you want, make them big, make them small, add more to it. That's basically images. I'm going to go back a screen. I'm going to go right back to home so you can see where I started. Went to New Project, and I'm going to go ahead and replace what's on the canvas. I don't want to save it. And here's my nice clean canvas again. And remember we went to images, selecting images, and you can see where I left off. We talked about categories, and we did the free. Cartridges is another thing you might want to use in your search. And I love cartridges because it shows me all of the images that are grouped alike. So let me give you an example. Here's one of my favorites, the Birds on Parade. I'm going to just click Birds on Parade, and you can see these have been granted to me. And they are on, you can see the little A in the corner is a Cricut Access member. But you can see all of the different images that go together, the same color sequence, the same style, and then as you are uploading them, it keeps it in continuity. That's why I love working with cartridges. So something to have fun with and explore. Okay, you guys, that is the basics on understanding how to add in images on your canvas. We talked about the image library, we talked about how different images are categorized, and we also talked about our image queue. So I want to show you now how to upload an image. And I'm going to go back here, get my highlighter. I'm over here on my design panel, and this right here says upload. Now, if you're working on a PC or a Mac, a computer desktop or laptop, this is how it would look. But if you're working on like a smartphone or an iPad, it might be a little bit different in its placement. It's down at the bottom, down in here. But we do have image upload for the Apple devices, handheld devices, which is really exciting now if you didn't know that. So if you like working from an iPad, now you can upload images. It's pretty cool. So I'm going to do a quick poll before we go into that. I want to know, what are you most excited about making with your Cricut machine? And maybe you've already started doing some of these. Maybe this is a cards and paper kind of thing for you, or iron-on or vinyl. Maybe you really want to do some fabric and sewing projects, or maybe you just don't know. That's okay. You're just a newbie. You're just trying to figure this all out. So let's just do a quick poll and see where you are. Really interested in knowing, what are you most excited about making with this Cricut machine? It helps me in designing future webinars too. So I know what are the tools and functions that you need to know that correspond with each of those projects. So I'm going to share with you the results really quickly, and it's pretty even here, with cards projects at 29%. Vinyl projects is the winner today, and iron-on at 20%. Iron-on super easy. Fabric, not so sure, only 10%. There's some really cool things if you have the maker of what you can do with fabric now that's easier. You can still do it with your Air 2, but you have to have a backer. So let me go ahead and hide the results, and we're going to go back into Design Space. If you're with me, we're going to click Upload. Okay, so let's talk about a few things on this screen. All right, we have a couple things for you to know. We have the basic or vector images. You can upload here, or you can upload pattern fills as well. All right, notice it's telling you what the image ends with, the file, okay, the file type. And you can see the ones that I've uploaded as well. And if I clicked View All, you could see all of them, right? So what I want to do is, I'm just going to do a basic one, which would be one that ends in SVG. All right, that's probably the easiest kind to upload. So if you're taking notes, what is the easiest type to upload? SVG, and I'll tell you why when we go into the differences between the two. So I'm going to click Upload, and it brings me to this screen. It's telling me drag or drop the image here, or you can browse through your computer and find it. So I actually had mine up on my laptop here, and I know what I want, and I actually had one of our designers create an SVG for me so I could make a vinyl sign for my friends. And their last name is the Cabreras, and it's just a cute sign. I'm going to put vinyl on some wood and make it for their home. It's like a wedding gift. So I want to upload that image that she made. It ended in SVG. And so over here, this is important. A lot of people don't think this is an important thing to do, but it actually is. Because as you go forward in being a Cricut user and uploading more and more images, you're creating your own library. And so you want them tagged and labeled so you can find them with these. So that's why I recommend that you kind of get in practice of doing this, and then it's not so hard. So I'm just going to put a wedding sign, and on the tag, I'm just going to put vinyl because I know I'm going to do it in vinyl. And so then I click Save. Down here at the bottom, Save. Okay, so now you can see it is in my recently uploaded images, and there it is, right? And it says, hey, you uploaded this one, okay? So now if I want to bring that to my blank canvas so I can actually send it to my Cricut machine to cut, it's really simple, you guys. I just am going to come over here and select it. I just click on it. notice the green box appears, and I'm going to come over, and you can see it's in my queue. It's right there at the bottom. I could select more, but I'm just selecting that one, and I'm going to insert the image onto my canvas, and I should probably turn off all of my drawings so it's not confusing. So there it is, right? And I can make it as big and small as I want, and go ahead and click make it, and it's ready to go. It's sizable. So when I move it, when I take this bottom handle and move it, notice it doesn't get fuzzy. It doesn't lose its clarity because it's an SVG file, right? If it was maybe a JPEG, like a picture file, or a PNG file, if I were to make it bigger and expand it, it could start looking fuzzy. And I'll tell you why in just a moment. We're going to talk about the differences. That's why I wanted to show you this one. Uploading SVG is the easiest way to go, guys. So take note on that. SVG is really easy. It doesn't take a whole lot for me to manipulate besides sizing it, really. And even if I can change color too, that's pretty easy. But SVG files are really the easiest thing to upload. And it doesn't have to be fixed or altered. Okay, so if you have a question, be sure to ask it now on those SVG. That we're really interested in hearing if you have a question on that. I want to go into my PowerPoint. This is where if you want to take notes on the side, you might want to. These I'm going to go over the differences between images. Okay, so here we go. So there are two types of images, you guys. There's a vector image, and I'm sure you've heard of that, or a basic image, which is a raster image. And I want you to look at the pictures. SVG is what we just did, right? And if you make it bigger, this is like a projecting the S. If you make it bigger, it doesn't lose its quality, but and it ends with, the file ends with .svg. Raster images, if you were to make it bigger and enlarge it, you would see this is called pixelated. There are all these little pixels because that's how it was designed, like a JPEG or a GIF or a PNG file. Let's talk about each one specifically. Let's first look at vector images. And I love vector images just because it's so easy. And what SVG stands for is a scalable vector graphic. So scalable, just like it says, is scalable. It can go smaller or larger and keep its quality. So it's based on mathematical paths. It's not on pixels. So anything that's a vector image would end with SVG, SVG or DXF. And it's ideal for cutting in Design Space. These can be directly imported without converting anything. You saw me just do that. I directly imported the Cabreras, right? I didn't really have to do anything to it or change it. And it scaled bigger if I wanted, and it didn't lose its quality. And these files are typically smaller than the basic ones. And so, like I say here, you may need to change the color and the size, and that's it. So vector images are super great. And people get SVGs all over the place. So you can get free SVG images online. I have a favorite one. I think it's, let me just go to it really quickly and I'll show you. This one is super free and super great. It is, and I have it bookmarked, lovesvg.com. And so I like free ones. I've purchased some as well that I know that I'll use over and over, but you can see the latest ones that they have uploaded here for us to have for free. And all I do is, if I see one that I really like, then I will go ahead and scroll down and I click it. Let's say I like this. I like this is my put your phone down, boy. That's I have a 16-year-old, so you can relate. So then I just scroll down here and it tells you how to download it. It's really simple. I just download to a zip file, boom, and it's right there. I can click on that and it will show me my downloads. And I'll show you, there's the phone, put your phone down, and there's the SVG, and I can just drag that and drop it onto my desktop, and there it is. Okay, and then I can just upload it into Design Space. So really easy. There are a lot of Etsy shops that sell really beautiful SVGs. That's why I recommend SVGs to you, because they're so simple, you guys. If as newbies, it's just a little less work, and so they're really cheap. Some of them are out there just super cheap, 99 cents or something like that, and up. So I work with free ones, I work with ones that I've purchased, but just wanted you to know a little bit about a scalable vector graphic. So then the other kind of image is a basic image, and you can see here on my visual an SVG compared to a PNG file, and you can see how it looks pixelated, right, and blocky, because that's how it was created, by pixels that are added together, pixel upon pixel upon pixel. And so a JPEG, a typical photo, are just those kind of little pixels all together. And the file extensions usually end with JPEG, GIF, PNG, BMP. They have smooth gradients and subtle tones, and they only can scale down without losing its quality. So like if the sign that I had for Cabrera's, I wanted to make it bigger for maybe that piece of wood that I was going to cut some vinyl for. If it was maybe a PNG, I wouldn't have been able to make it go bigger without losing the quality. I could have made it smaller, but that's the only thing. It can only scale down. Hope that makes sense. These files are typically larger than vector files, and they do require a few steps to convert them into a cut file, and that is where we are. So we've talked about the two different types. You have basic, you have vector. And so what I want to do now is show you how to upload a basic image into Design Space, clean it up a little bit so it can have a clean cut path and get the results that you want, okay? So I'm going to go back into Design Space, and we'll show you just that. Here I am. Okay. So I'm going to get out of this sign, and I'm still working where it says upload, right? I'm uploading an image. It's here in the design panel at the bottom. If you're on a device, a handheld device, it's at the bottom left-hand corner. Click upload, okay? And we're going to upload an image. I'm not doing a pattern fill today. I'm just going to upload an image. So I'm going to click upload image. It gives me the choice. Do you want to browse through your computer files, or do you want to just drag and drop it? And for our sake, in time, I just had it on my desktop here. So I'm going to drag and drop it. I'm going to show you, I think I'm going to show you two. I'm going to show you an easy one and then a harder one. So let's do the love PNG. You can see it's pretty simple. It ends with PNG. Now, it asks me to select my image type over here. How complex is this image? Not very, right? It's pretty simple, right? But you can see if I were to click on the moderate, it changes just a little bit. It's very subtle, and it will help you in the next frame. Let me show you. I could keep it on any of them actually, and it would work, but I'm going to go back to simple, and click continue. Now, here's the file. It's a PNG. It was a picture. Now, if I want to see what it would look like on my screen, I'm going to click right down here. Let me put my highlighter on for you. This is my favorite button. It's called Preview. And that is, take a look and see if this is what you want. Is this what you want it to look like on your canvas when you add it? So I'm going to click Preview. That's not what I want, right? So I'm going to have to work with it a little bit. So I'm going to come back and I'm going to hide that preview. And I'm going to use some tools to help me clean it up, if you will. So these tools are right here in this corner. And I have a magic wand, I have an eraser, and I have a crop tool. And you'll recognize those images from working with, like, on your phone or something like that. They're very similar. And my favorite one is the magic wand. I'll show you. I'm going to click on the magic wand, and I'm going to click on the space that I don't want to show. And that is the background, right? Now, if you can see, it changed, didn't it? But if I'm like, you know what, I'm not sure about that, you can always go up here to undo and go back, right? I love the undo and redo buttons as well. They're good. You can see that it just took it right off. So I'm going to go back here. If you're following along, you can go ahead and upload an image of yours. And you can go ahead and preview it now. If I previewed it, it's not quite what I wanted. So I'm going to go back, and I can see that E is blocked out. So I'm going to click there and click there. And now preview it. See, that's what I'm looking for. Maybe I want to cut that out of iron-on or something and put it on a shirt or a onesie. That'd be super cute. So I'm going to go ahead and click continue. Now, two different things here you have to consider, right? You can save it as a print and cut. Now, raise your hand if you remember what print and cut is. You can save it as a print and cut image. I see a lot of you remember it. Print and cut, you're going to send it to your printer. It will print that out, and then it will cut around it. Okay, I could do that maybe if I was making a card and I just wanted to have a little cutout of that. That would be great. Or I can save it as a cut image. And I already had said I wanted to cut this out of iron-on and put it on a onesie. So I'm actually going to save it as a cut image. I want to make sure it's selected. You can see the green box is automatically defaulted over here on this printed cut. I need to change it over, right? So I'm going to change it over here to cut image. And remember when I said it's really important to name them and tag them as you are building your own library? It's just a way to be able to find them later because they're categorized. So I have it automatically put in the word love. I can add anything else here if I wanted to and click save. Now, it took me right back to adding an image right here, and there it is. And I could highlight it and say insert it to my canvas, and there it is. Right now, if I make it bigger, did you see that it was scalable now? Yeah, it didn't lose its continuity. It's now a cut file, so it's not blurry like it would have been because it started out as a PNG and we've converted it now to a cut file, which is great because now I can scale it how I want it. And maybe, like I said, I was going to do that little onesie or something, and I think, oh, okay, I'll do about 4.5, 5 inches. That'd be perfect right there. Go ahead and click make it, and I'm in business, you guys. Pretty fast, right? I want to show you a little bit more difficult one, but before I do, I want to do another poll. I want to know on a scale of 1 to 5, how important is uploading images and fonts in Design Space to you. I know a lot of people find this very, very important, and maybe you don't know why. A lot of people think this is incredible to be able to do this because it gives you so much flexibility in what you're doing. Let's close the poll and share your results. Yeah, this group is definitely, it's important or very important to you. And if you aren't a Cricut Access member, it's a way to have images, because the image library, some of those things you have to purchase. And so it might be where you can find something that's free and upload it that fits your needs better. And so that's why it's important to a lot of people, and it's something that a lot of people like to share as well with their friends. So that's kind of fun. If you haven't had one of your friends share any of their images with you, you can. Just remember on SVGs and files, it's if you don't purchase them, it's really for personal use only. So you have to be a little bit careful there with some copyright infringements. So I wanted to show you before we close today. I want to show you more complex image. I'm going to go ahead and click out of this love image and bring in a more difficult one. And so I'm going to go ahead and click upload here in my design panel. Upload. I want to upload an image. This one isn't a pattern. Easy drag and drop. And this one is a JPEG. It's a picture. And I'm going to drop it right there. It's a little more complex. And so I'm going to click complex. It has some colors and contrasts. You can see some contrasts here. So I'm going to hit continue. And I suggest that you practice doing this. Doesn't mean you have to keep them. You can always delete them, but I suggest that you practice this. Okay, so now if I clicked preview, this is a JPEG, it's not a SVG. Raise your hand if you know, if I click preview, what will appear? What is this going to look like? All right, it looks like Amy and Deborah, Diane, Nancy, Julianne, you guys all know. I'm going to click preview. It's a box. That is not what I want, right? So I'm going to go back, and I need to do some cleanup. So my cleanup tools are in the top left-hand corner, right? My magic eraser, my wand, my crop. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start with my magic wand. And I'm just going to click the background because that will help a ton. That's a great way to get started. Get rid of the background. It looks like it kept a few of the corner pieces. I can click there as well. Okay. Now let's just preview it and see how much we've done. Already so much better than just that black box. So I'm going to go back, and maybe I want to do some other things. I could actually click in this little space, get rid of that. Maybe I want to have this line as a cut line, so I'm going to click there. I wanted to show you one other thing that you could do, and that is magnify, and it's right up here in the top right-hand corner, because some of these things get really tight, really small, and you need to see it. So right up here is where you can magnify the images here for you as you are cleaning it up, if you will. So I'm going to go ahead and magnify this a little bit, zoom. Okay, I'll zoom out just a bit. Okay, so that might help me in my cleaning up process. I could take my eraser, and this really cool about this eraser, I can scale the eraser, make it a big eraser or a little small for some fine detail work. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger because I think I'm going to take out this heart right here. And I just clicked on it, and here's my big eraser, and I'm just erasing it. I could also click on this flourish and send it packing. Goodbye. Maybe that's all I want. Okay, let's preview it. Click preview. Okay, if that looks like what you want, then you can go ahead and hit continue and save it. You can continue to work on it and clean up things if you want, right? I could put it back on my magic wand or even crop some things out. I could say, you know, I want this little cut path in there. You can see now the little checkerboard behind it. I could click here and here, and I could click down on this heart, and let's just preview it and see what we've done. Okay, now if I am like, you know what, I really don't like that, I want the hearts to be filled, I can use my undo arrow, and I do this all the time because sometimes I'll click on something that I inadvertently didn't want and have to go undo. And I can click undo several times and it will put it all back. Isn't that great? I love that feature. Now let's say this is what I want. I can check one more time, preview, looks like what I want, and I'm going to go ahead and hit continue. It brings up the choices once again. Do you want to save this as a print and cut image, or do you want to save this now as a cut image? Maybe this is something that you want to cut out of paper and add it to a card or something, right? It says hearts and flourish, and go ahead and click save. And there it is in my recently uploaded images. Now, let's say, you know what, I don't want some of these images here. It's really easy to say goodbye to them. So what you're going to do is use the little eye icon there for information, and I will just click on it, and it's telling me there's the name, there's its number, right? That's why it's important to tag it and name it. And I can just say, I don't want that anymore. I was just teasing. Are you sure you want to delete this image? Are you really sure? It gives you that prompt, and you can say yes, and it's gone. That's it, you guys. Really pretty simple, but it does take some practice cleaning up those pixelated images, those basic images, into a nice cut image so you can scale it and have it uploaded in Design Space the way you want it. So let's just go back to our PowerPoint. I want to give you a couple of things to do. Where can I go for help? Now, if this is something you're going to try and you get stuck, you're in the middle of doing this, don't forget you have help. Help.cricut.com, you guys. They're your best friend, right? Chat, get online. They will help you. They'll walk you right through it. So to review what we did today, you learned how to upload image in Design Space, and we talked about the difference between a vector image and a basic image. You should know that really well. And I showed you how to convert basic images to cut images in Design Space. Here's what I want you to do to practice. Practice. Upload a vector image, one that ends in .svg, and if you don't have one, go online and get one for free like I showed you. Or upload a basic image like a picture or a GIF file or PNG, one that you have to clean and convert, and then actually go through that process of converting that basic image into a nice clean cut path. It's really fun, actually. I find it really relaxing and fun. But if you get in there and practice it, then it will become easy and like muscle memory to you. You won't have a problem with it. It will be pretty easy. Anyway, thank you guys for joining me today. If you want to watch this again, I'm going to teach it again on Thursday. And then the next week, I'll have another webinar for you. Thank you so much. If you wouldn't mind taking a few moments at the end here and giving me a little bit of feedback, I'd sure appreciate it, you guys. Thanks very much. Have a great night. Bye now.